Welcome to the World Light Network, a house of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding building. We bring forth the light of men and cause them to shine. Let's go into the message.
Driven, moving beyond usual frequency. Now, when you look at how things work and how men relate and how men move about their things, you understand that people do not just move. The reason why that gentleman is found in jail at the age of 24 is because there was something behind his motivation in the action that led to his arrest and imprisonment. There is nothing empty that motivates people to achieve. So people are always directed, led, governed by a motive, and that motive is what drives them in achieving whatsoever rewards that they get, as to whether it be a reward in its expression or a judgment in its expression. So when people are moving, you should know that people are not moving just as mere men, that they are moving with something leading them. That is to say, now when you look at the football matches we watch, when the matches are going on, you know that there is a cup that is being targeted, and so therefore you are playing the game not just as an entertainment, but also with an agenda of earning the result, earning the trophy, earning the cup that has been placed on the game. So there is something that is driving the players in order for them to play on the field effectively. So when you hear the fans screaming at the player, it's not because the player isn't playing well, but the player isn't able to put the ball in the net that will guarantee their victory, which will give them the upper hand in assessing the cup, in assessing the trophy. And that is what gets the fans upset. That is what gets the coach upset. That why are you handling the ball in a way that you could do better with it and then get the ball into the net to give us a guarantee of victory and access to the trophy. Now, there is something over there that is driving them, so they become driven. So they are on a scale of movement, and that scale that is moving them is a scale that is leading them to the trophy. So they are driven by the trophy. I hope you are getting what I'm trying to say. So we will run through this subject matter, and then you will find your place. You have a clear realization that your movement should not just be a movement without a driven. We will even talk about the fact that some of the reflections of a life which is not driven by anything significant, because in your nothingness you are driven over there. In your something becoming, you are also driven by something. So you are either driven by a significant matter or an insignificant matter. And then you realize in the course of study that when people are not driven by a significant matter, their life will not end well. The reason why it will not end well is because there is no appropriate agenda that governs their motion, that governs their attitude, that governs their character. And so therefore they just behave, they just relate, they just talk, they just accommodate people, they just do anything anyhow. So their life is not under a governance. But remember, until your life falls under a governance, you cannot become accountable. So it takes men that are under authority to be accountable. So when men refuse to be accountable, they misbehave by default. So in order for you to see that a man is not accountable, check his behavior. So most people are behaving in a way which is not pleasant in society, is because they do not have an accountability system that governs their lifestyle. So when that happens, the lack of accountability will give them the freedom to misbehave. So you understand that in the course of the study, you know that when men lack accountability, resources are being mismanaged. When men lack accountability, character becomes unacceptable and becomes deviant in all angles. We'll get there. Thank you for joining me. My name is God Kate Bonesman, and we are dealing with driven, moving beyond usual frequency. So when you find a man who is driven by a vision, who is driven by a target, who is driven by an ambition, who is driven by purpose, who is driven by something significant and of much value, when you have such a man, you will know that that man does not walk on a usual frequency. That man does not walk on a usual standard. That man does not walk on a usual status. That man does not walk on a usual character. There is something unique and different about such a man in every moment of time. Driven, moving beyond usual frequency. So what an ordinary man would do, a driven man will be exceptional. What an ordinary man will do, a driven man will have an extraordinary attachment to that character of behavior, to that character of performance, and which will result in an extraordinary result. A driven man. You can do the same thing with a driven man, but saying that thing does not drive you, you cannot make the result of the driven man. So when you are not driven with becoming a fashionist, becoming a world-class designer, and you are just doing it because you just want to, have something just to make an end, just to get a food on the table in order for you to break even in your life. When you are dealing with someone who is driven with becoming a world-class standard fashionist, the designs, you will be in the same class, having the same teacher, having the same tuition about designing, and yet you cannot make what the man who has a world-class ambition and vision is doing. So the fact that you are in a state with a person does not mean that you are going to achieve the same result with a person. No, things does not work that way. Until you allow things to drive you, you cannot make the exceptional result that is within that agenda. So you can have the same the vision of becoming a student in Legon, of becoming a student in KNUST, of becoming a Lincoln University student. But when you are not driven with the excellency that the school provides, you will not be able to make the first class standard. You will not be able to make the exceptions that comes with the schooling. I believe you are getting my point. So it takes men who are driven with an ambition, who are driven with a standard, who are driven with a character, who are driven. It takes men who are driven to change the world. That is to say that when you are in a country and the story of the country does not drive the leaders of the country to change things are not going to change. So the reason why most of our developing countries are still in a state which is unpleasant is because the leaders are having a problem of drivenness. So if you don't have the right drivenness that will drive you appropriately to make the result that is required to be seen in a transformative angle, you are not going to make that exception result. You cannot make that exception result. You cannot. A driven man is a man under movement influence. So when a man is driven, that man is always moving. The man is always on the green. The man is always on the go. So he does not stop to waste time. He is on the go because a driven man values time. A driven man values time. A driven man does not joke with time. A driven man does not misbehave with time. When a driven man is available, it means that time is in usage. So when your time is being misused, it means that you have to check what is driving you. You have to check whether you are being driven or you are just agile. You are just living, you are just walking, and there is nothing governing your actions. A driven man is always on a go, always under a movement influence. What am I doing? That is to say, when a man is driven, even silence is a movement. That is, when a man is driven, his standing is a movement. His sleeping is a movement, because he sleeps based on a factor that is in corresponding to the achievement of an agenda. He stands based on an achievement, on an agenda to achieve his mission. He keeps quiet based on an agenda to achieve an ambition. So the silence of a driven man isn't just a mere silence, but is a silence of movement of change. The influence of a driven man is the power that determines his actions and reactions. So they don't just react to things. No. Before a driven man will respond to an action, it means that that response is affecting the mission, is affecting the vision, is affecting the purpose and the agenda, is affecting whatever is causing the motion. What drives a driven man's action is not different from where he's going. What drives a man's action, a man under the influence of emotion, what drives such a man is not different from where he's going. That is to say that no matter whatsoever a driven man does, he does it because of where he is going. He does it because of the destination he has determined to arrive at. So when he speeds because of the destination. When he slows down because of the destination. When he stops to pick someone, he stops to pick someone to join him on the journey because of the destination. He does not do anything outside the terrain of his destination. Your destination determines your journey. A wrong destination reflects a wrong journey. So when you don't have a right destination, when you don't have the right ambition, when you don't have a right purpose being discovered and disclosed, it means that your journey, your pathway, anything relating to achieving that ambition will become an error. So the reason why we have a lot of error in the system is because the people in concern aren't seeing right. So until you are able to see right, you cannot make the right result. You cannot make the right change. So people are making change, but that change isn't affecting appropriately because that isn't what they have determined as their destination. So they are having wrong destinations, and so therefore their way of life, their attitude, their reactions aren't appropriate. So we have factors that you consider in order for you to have a clear and appropriate destination defined. And we will go through all that in the course of the study. And I believe that you are going to stay with me throughout the course of the study, and you are not going to be left empty. By the time we end our teachings, by the time you follow us for 2 years, for 3 years, for 6 months, for 3 months, you will have an experience of growth, an experience of empowerment and embodiment, which will become a clear sight that all men will see that indeed you got connected with the World Light Network. My name is God Kid Bonesman. A wrong journey leading to a wrong destination means unsatisfaction and unfulfillment in life. That is to say, when you have a wrong vision, a wrong ambition, your character and your behavior will be wrong. And when that happens, when you get to your destination, what will be a sign that you are at the wrong place, as even though you took in the necessary measures to get there and you got there, the measures you took were wrong and were inappropriate. And as a result of that, you are not going to be satisfied. You are going to be in lack even though you have everything in your hands. You are going to be in want even though you have everything in your hands. Why? Because you are in the wrong place. You are in the wrong place. You have a lot of people, a lot of doctors who are not satisfied. You have a lot of teachers who are not satisfied. You have a lot of engineers who are not satisfied. The question is, why are they not? These are prestigious things, but yet they are not satisfied, yet they are not happy, yet they don't enjoy the fruit of their labor. The reason is because they did not identify the true vision that is supposed to drive them. They were misled, and as a result of that, they are making a result which is not permittable, with their spirit, which is not permittable within their soul, which is not permittable within them. So they are unhappy. Their soul is still searching, their spirit is still searching. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? So there are a lot of people who are having, an ambitious result, yet they don't feel achieved. You will never feel arrived until you arrive at the right place. A man who knows his destination but do not know the pathways to be journeyed on is like a man who know no destination. Think about it. This is very deep. A man who knows his destination but do not know the pathway to be journeyed on is like a man who know not his destination. That is to say, if you have an ambition of becoming a medical doctor and you don't know the kind of courses to study in order to become a medical doctor, you are as equal as the man who does not know what he is doing with his life. I get what I'm trying to say. when you have an ambition, you are supposed to fight to know the pathways necessary to attain that. So you want to become one of the best musicians in the world, and you don't know the pathways in getting there. My brother, my sister, please listen, search for it. Give in your all to know the pathway you are supposed to use to get to that standard. If you are unable to do that, it means that you are just having a dream which has not become a vision to be achieved. Who is a driven man? Who is a driven man? A driven man is a man of vision, who is not ignorant of what it takes to achieve and is subjected to the demand of the vision coming to pass. I'll take it again. A driven man is a man of vision who is not ignorant of what it takes to achieve and is subjected to the demand of the vision coming to pass. So a driven man, number one, is a man of vision. Number two is a man who is not ignorant. He knows what it takes to achieve the vision. He knows what it takes to get to the destination, the appropriate destination of glory, the appropriate destination of satisfaction. He knows. And lastly, he is subjected to the demand of the vision. That for the vision to come to pass, he is subjected to whatsoever that it requires for him to become. For him to get to the point where he fulfills the vision. That is to say that when he gives himself up to the vision, he relating to the vision. So when you hear him speak, he speaks with respond to the desire of vision. When you hear him watch something, he watches it with the sight of vision. When you see him move his step, he moves his step with relation to his vision. So a man that is driven is a man who has a calculated steps relating to vision and ambition and purpose fulfillment. Here is a World Light Network. We will proceed and then we will deal with some of the signs that a man is not driven. Number one, there is carelessness in his actions. That a man who is not driven, remember we say that a driven man is a man of vision, a man who is not ignorant of what it takes to achieve, and a man who is subjected to the demand of the vision coming to pass. And so therefore, when you see a man who does not have a vision, a man who is not subjected to any demand to achieve and does not know what to achieve and what to do to achieve something, such a man is a careless man. Such a man does not know the appropriate way of conducting himself. Such a man is not result oriented. Number two, such a man misuses resources. That is to say that he does not know what to do with the resources at his disposal. So this is a major problem that is affecting most of the African countries. Is because we have resources, but the driven man is not available to narrow the resources towards the development of our nations, towards the development of our developing countries, our developing towns, our developing cities. And as a result of that, we have all the necessary resources that the country called Ghana, and yet we are unable to become as powerful as a country of such resource value is supposed to mature. And that has become a problem which needs to be handled. But I believe that when you get connected, that is why you're supposed to connect any minister you know, connect any government official you know, connect any ambassador you know, so that we get things laid straight, laid appropriately, and get things done. The reason why some churches cannot grow bigger is because they lack such information, such details. So they have the giftings, they have the intelligence, they have the people, but they are unable to achieve is because they are not having the appropriate drivenness. So they are not driven appropriately. Either they do not have a driven spirit, or they do not have the appropriate driven spirit. And as a result of that, there is a misuse and a misappropriating of resources. Of resources. Of resources. No matter how rich you get, when the money is coming and you are not seeing what to do with the money, it will be misused. That is why you should stop requesting for money. You should stop fighting for money when you don't have a vision for the money. Because when it falls into your hand, you abuse it. So the reason why most people get rich and after 5 years, after 6 years, they go broke is because oftentimes, when all things being equal, they are not driven by anything that will multiply the money and make the money work and stay forever. So there is no ambition, there is no strategy to keep the money, and as a result of that, the money has to go waste. And the money will go waste when you don't make room for it, when you don't make appropriate ordinances for the money to stay. When you don't make room for the money to stay, the money cannot and it will not stay. It cannot and it will not. It cannot and it will not. Understanding the potency of our gains, understanding the potency of our gains is very important. When you don't get the potency of our gains right, you will lose it. That things that are meant to be forever will just last for few days, few months, few years, and then you will lose everything. Things that are supposed to be meant for generational usage, you will misuse it in your generation, and you become a curse to the next generation instead of being the blessing of the next generation. Some of us, we hold the keys to the greatness of our next generation, but we are misusing the keys. We are opening the doors to wrong people, and wrong people are having access and they are clearing everything. By the time it reaches the right people to have access to the gate, when they open, the room is empty because you have misused the key. But I know that you from now on, you'll be on your toes. You'll be on your 10 toes to bring the change that is required. You have a piece of land that you can do something on it with this little you are earning, but you are abusing the money. There is this brother who was always drinking with friends. And you know what? He is the richest among the friends. And so when they go and they sit down, he takes care of all the bills. He pays all the bills. He pays everything. He pays everything. He pays everything. He was handed over a plot of land by his late dad, and that land had been there for years. At a point in time, the friends he was going out with betrayed him one way or the other, and so therefore there was a disconnection. And so he realized when the disconnection happened, he was alone. So he decided to put the money into real estate. When the money was being pushed over there, in 6 months he had built 2-bedroom, self-contained, in 6 months. But over the years, he had the same salary, and yet he couldn't afford a bag of cement. That was where he realized that he was doing a mistake long time ago, because he would have gotten far and secured the future and the destiny of his kids. Unfortunately, that was the only property he was able to do and left behind. It's just unfortunate. But just imagine that if he had realized that, look, I have a vision and I have to put this structure on my budget, that this is what I'm supposed to achieve, he would have gotten very far. Very far. So that has become a problem, that there are a lot of profitable things that we are supposed to keep our sight on, but the unprofitable things are too much on us. The load of unprofitable things is too much. We are loaded with things which are not profitable, things that do not last. We are loaded with them. And as a result of that, a lot of things are not happening well. So things that are supposed to be to be done by us cannot be done, because we have a lot of things which are not relevant. The irrelevance is too much around us. But I believe your eyes will be cleared. I believe your eyes will be open. I believe your conscience will be set right. I believe your understanding will open, and then you become to see the irrelevant things and you put them aside and you focus on relevance, and you will achieve. I believe and I believe and I believe. In the absence of drivenness, a nation is stagnant. Lack of a driven man, family has no future. So when the husband you are picking is not driven by love, it's not driven with an ambition, with relevance, you know that the relationship you are entering in isn't one with a promising future. Even though his mouth might confess something like that to you, the reality is that you are going to end up in the mud. That is why when you meet a man, you should not just concern yourself with the words of love, but you should consider the ambition of love. You should consider the vision of love. When you are in love with a person, it shouldn't be upon his current state, but upon his future plan, the plan and the vision that he has. When you have that laid appropriately, you will know that you are going somewhere with a man. But when that is not being defined, you know that you are not going to last. Trust me. Trust. When a man cannot tell you where both of you will be in the next 5 months, in the next 5 years, that man has a problem and you have to check out. When a man cannot tell you where both of you can be in the next 10 years, you should check out something. Because the fact that you are entering into a relationship with a man, it means that there is something to be achieved that requires both of you. It's not only about sex. It's not only about the 6 packs. It's not only about the fine face. Neither is it only about the shape and the symmetric body that you have. No, it's not only about that. It's about an achievement that will sustain the relationship. When you don't have that achievement over there available to sustain the relationship, there you will know that there is a problem somewhere which needs to be sorted out. So let's look at some of the characteristics of a true driven man. Number one, a true driven man is moved by the things that affect his vision. Number two, a vision man sights only on things relating to vision. A vision man only sights on things relating to vision. Number three, a vision man listens and keeps informations that have the potency to bring vision into a reality. A vision man listens and keeps informations that has the potency to bring vision to a reality. Number four, absent-minded to things outside his vision. So anything that is outside the vision of a vision man is outside-minded to him, is absent-minded to him. He does not pay concentration on such things. He does not give attention to such things. He focuses on things that will transform him, on things that will bring relevance to his vision. And number five, a driven man is ready to adjust as far as is a demand of vision achievement. A driven man is ready to adjust as far as is a demand of vision achievement. Don't forget that we said a driven man is a man of vision who is not ignorant of what it takes to achieve and is subjected to demand of the vision coming to pass. So they are ready to do whatsoever it takes to bring their vision into a reality. They are ready to change their flight in order to get to the right destination for them to land. They are ready to change their vehicle in order for them to get to the right place they have to land. They are ready to slow down when there is a demand of slowdown on their pathway to achieve vision. They are ready to speed up. They are ready to run when there is a demand on running and there is a demand on speed in order for them to achieve their vision. Here is the World Light Network. My name is Godked Bonesman. Thank you for joining me for today's podcast show. I am much grateful. I want you to understand that I am always available for you. Just go on YouTube and then you will have series of our messages over there which will transform you, which will inspire you, which will make you knowledgeable and informative, which will give you the potency that is required for greatness. I believe that you are going to be transformed. You are going to be blessed as far as you get connected with the World Light Network. Subscribe to the channel, share, comment. May your views be made known in the comment section. Thank you for joining me for this section.